Certainly going to be a more serious story out there, a much sadder story, so I appreciate all of you guys listening all the way through or leaving a like and comment down below. First and foremost, a great job by Halo out there in handling the reporting that, yes, was not fully true, but certainly I would say mishandled and mismanaged, just like the roster ran by Immortals Gaming Club, that being the LA Valiant. Just this past week, found out, unfortunately so, the entire roster as well as staff members have been let go in a transition to the Chinese scene instead, as Immortals Gaming Club will hold on to ownership. Everything else has changed. It was a pretty shocking situation entirely. I'm going to read out for you guys a slew of responses and a great initial report out there by Halo. Pay attention to the full details of the report, which LA Valiant and their CEO of Immortals Gaming Club responded to at the time and called false. As initially, it was Halo saying, Overwatch, according to multiple sources, Immortals Gaming Club have sold the LA Valiant to a currently unknown to me Chinese organization. Also, according to sources, is the new Valiant owner does want a team with a heavy Chinese influence. Further stating, meaning there are likely incoming roster moves for the Valiant before the season starts due to the new owner wanting Chinese talent. I have reached out for comment to the Valiant and will update when I receive a response. To which both the LA Valiant as well as Immortals Gaming Club CEO Ari Segal did respond to. First, LA Valiant and their social media team, they actually quoted that tweet saying, "We would like to confirm that this rumor is false. IGC will continue to own the LA Valiant, and we are excited about the opportunity to grow the brand's global reach this year." To which Ari also responds to that and says that no one reached out and also calls that report false. As of, in the past 24 to 48 hours, it seems that at least part of that rumor or that report was indeed not false. A lot of people out there focusing on the big part of that being that, yes, IGC will retain ownership, but everything else that Halo did say did technically come true. The obvious, I would say, bigger part of this being that the same roster and staff and players out there have been screwed over, and especially because you have LA Valiant on their social media accounts and a CEO responding to that report, which was more than just one part, and calling it false, when at the end of the day, it was not completely true, but it wasn't completely false either. As the LA Valiant's recent post, they did say, "We want to thank all the players and staff moving on today from the LA Valiant due to COVID-related visa issues as we prepare to compete in China this season. We've worked to facilitate the best available next steps for our players and staff and wish them all the best moving forward. We look forward to having LA Valiant join NYXL and the Philadelphia Fusion in bringing more live Overwatch League content to the passionate fan base in Asia during this logistically challenging year." So, at the end of the day, what Halo did report was not completely true, but the fact they went out of their way to respond and call it false, if you're going to do that, it better be completely false, of which was not the case, because Halo makes sure to note in his initial report that players are going to be let go in this transition from the LA Valiant being to, a Chinese heavily influenced team. He was correct in saying that players and staff would be screwed over. So when you have a CEO and a team come out and say, nope, it's false, it better be completely false, of which it clearly was not. One of the first statements out there was Adam, formerly of the Valiant roster, saying, "Finally thought I made it out of Australia, but things change. Forever grateful to Packing and Unter for making my dream come true, even if it was short. I was super excited to play with these players and really hope they find teams. Thanks everyone for all of the support." And head coach Packing also making his statement. I encourage you guys to check out the full thing, summed up pretty much thanking everyone for the continued support, as well as his individual teammates, as well as his staff. Despite the current circumstances and Overwatch literally saving his life, he nor his players nor his staff will be involved with the LA Valiant for the 2021 season, but he will hopefully be back. While other staff members like Unter as well as Sungwoo, they both called it was actually first a hilariously unfortunate circumstance and also a very unlucky situation, as they both look for new jobs. And then former Valiant member, that being McGravy, he kind of went off in Discord messages that were then tweeted out, citing, "Sometimes I sat up all night wondering what I could have done better," as he was a former LA Valiant member. He says he now can sleep peacefully knowing none of it mattered and I would have lost my job anyways. Do yourselves a favor and support a better team. I'm leaving this server. And the LA Gladiators, I would say, kind of making a subtle jab around this same time, as they made sure to say to everyone they won't be leaving LA. It kind of seems indirectly tied to the obvious controversy involving LA Valiant as they head to a heavier Chinese influence over in Asia. And former Valiant Kai, I said probably the most respectful response out of all of these players, and especially considering the circumstances, you always got to respect a response like this, where he pretty much just thanks the team for the opportunity as well as the chance. Then we have Analystcousteau Analystcousteau pointing out something very notable, saying moving your entire LA-based team to make a Chinese team and then using COVID-related issues as the reason you're dropping them, with a bunch of question marks as to how this does make sense. And I think plenty of people felt Overwatch support Paintbrush's response on this, as he joked about being a social media manager who had to make the LA Valiant tweet. This is one of the funnier videos I've seen.
Remember, we control your career, so don't screw this up, okay? All right, you look good.
Hey guys. Yeah, hey. LA Valiant social media manager here. You know, I've got some unfortunate news to break to you guys. Yeah, we had to cut the entire team due to some COVID-related visa issues.
Nice.
And you know,
Doing great.
I just want to reiterate that the stuff that, you know, the rumors that were being spread last week, completely false.
Completely false. Good job.
We're not selling the team.
No, we're not. We're not selling it.
And again,
Back to the point. COVID-related.
yeah, COVID-related visa issues.
Good job.
All right.
There you go.
Good luck. Have a good one.
Ugh!
Good.
That was so bad!
Okay. Oh, it's still fired.
Yes! And you're not going home either.
And a fan favorite, that being Agility's, also giving his heartbreaking response to this. Certainly a lot of people know his backstory, and this being a gigantic chance for him. He says, I most likely won't be competing in Overwatch League this season after this. Going to be focusing on my stream for 2021 and see what happens next year. Pretty disappointed in how this situation unfolded, but what can you do? I hope all the players find a good home and get to compete again. So clearly, frustrations around the board. At the end of the day, if this comes due financial restraints or some other notion, which seems to be at least playing a partial role as to why they'd want to do this in the first place, but having these players hang on or maybe be led on for this long into the season, or I should say before the season does start, it makes it very difficult for most of these players and staff members to probably find jobs, which hopefully they do as this story does spread. There are a lot of teams out there who oftentimes see this kind of coverage and want to offer a helping hand to players or staff members who no longer have jobs with the LA Valiant. I can only hope that is done in this case. And a final note, and usually a final nail out there, when a giant figure and a former Overwatch pro and a member of the OWL as well speaks out, that being xQc, usually he brings with him quite the force. And when even he calls you out, you know something was certainly mishandled in the situation. As he replied to the LA Valiant post saying, you guys always tried keeping moral high ground from Immortals, Noah. If you guys don't know, Noah was formerly of Immortals, to Valiant. Always try harding for good PR. Then you pull crap like this. Disaster. Next time, try something else than MS Paint. So all in all, I think you guys understand how I feel about this. Obviously, Immortals Gaming Club has been in some tricky situations over the past 6 to 8 months, which I want to talk about more in the future. Ultimately, it comes down to feeling bad for the players and especially staff members out there who might find it very difficult to find jobs for the rest of 2021. And that's where these kind of stories truly do hurt to try and cover. Give me your full thoughts. You know, what you guys think about this situation. Yes, a lot of accounts out there painting Immortals and LA Valiant as the bad guys in this situation. And sometimes during these situations, it's tough to see the bright side. I would say understandably so. It's very tough to find the bright side in all of this. Thank you to Halo for doing some great work out there on all of this. And thanks to all the responses, and especially huge shouts to my Discord for helping me compile everything in these responses as well. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Take a sip for me. I'll see you back here sometime soon. Take care.